Today's video is brought to you by the comment section because I was reading the comments today and I read that someone was looking for a video on an RX 350 F Sport, and they said, you always do the 500, so why not do the 350? And I thought, that sounds like a perfect video for tonight. So what we're gonna do is use the Insta360 Flow, which I'm not sponsored by the way, but Insta360, if you're watching, I do love your product, so please hit me up. And we're gonna go over in depth on the RX 350 F Sport Series 3. So this is the fully loaded RX 350. In other markets, it's packaged a little bit different. But let's go over all the buttons, functions. I'll try to get up close and personal and go over it in the most depth as I can. I'm Dustin Mason from Performance Lexus in St. Catharines. Make sure you hit like and subscribe for more Lexus related content. Okay, so I parked it specifically this way because I do find certain angles of the RX 350 F Sport just look absolutely amazing. So I'm just gonna kind of like play Mr. Photographer here for a second and give you a little bit of this angle. When you're looking at it, there's something about parking a car with that wheel turn that when you're looking at it, you can really see a lot of the body lines. In this particular case, pay attention to that grille and side vents. So again, when you're up close, when you're further away, when it's parked, when it's rolling, all of those things play a difference when you're looking at these types of details of the car. But when you get up close, you'll see, so the F Sport has this little hatching type grille, and it is piano black. It's not like that textured black. It is quite the shiny piano black. And we also have it on each side. There's a little bit of a vent there, but for the most part, this is like more of a decoration. And then we see it fade away at the top of the grille. Now, when Lexus first came out with this, I was like, what are they doing? And then I realized this is to sort of mimic what we're seeing in the design language of the EVs in the marketplace right now. So EVs usually don't have a grille. They have more of like a texture or like, you know, a little bit more of a decoration than anything else. And Lexus has decided to go a little bit of that route with the RX 350 and incorporate both design languages together. I should mention, this is the ultra white. So in the F Sport, you have a different white color than, for instance, the luxury or the executive. And really the only difference is when you get up close to it, you'll see there isn't much flake at all. There is a little bit of shimmer or flake or pearlescent. I don't know the difference from just looking at them. And that with the black accents to me are absolutely just make the car. And even the RX 350 in black with the black accents I think is really cool, but the ultra white really is spectacular. Also taking a look, so this one being the fully loaded, we have that triple beam headlight system. So you can see there's 3 sets of headlights there. People ask me all the time, what's the difference between the triple beam and just like the normal one? For one, I think it looks a lot cooler on the outside of the vehicle, like you see here. And then 2, this also gives us, I'm gonna say it wrong, the intelligent adaptive high beam, or maybe it's just called adaptive high beam, which I've talked about in a lot of videos. Essentially, it's a high beam system that instead of just like when a car is coming, the whole system shuts the high beams off, it just shuts the high beam off that's facing that object. So the rest of your vision is still very bright. Also, in this package, we have the front-facing camera, and you can see that right under that heated Lexus emblem. That is going to give us the bird's eye view and a little bit of stuff with that. That's a lot of the design language of the front end. I will just mention there is also that little lip at the bottom. It's kind of like a silver. Let's start to walk around to the side. You'll see we got a little sensor right here. This guy is a parking sensor. And there's lots of sensors all over this thing. Everything from like front cross traffic, rear cross traffic, parking sensors, any of that Lexus safety sense. Obviously it's got sensors that read like stop signs and stuff like that too. But more importantly, I wanna bring your attention to this massive brake here. This is one of the most overlooked details about this car. The brakes on the RX 350 F Sport are huge. It's a 6-piston brake caliper with an absolute beast of a rotor. Now, because there is a fatal flaw with this, and it's not really fatal, because it's such a big brake, it doesn't get used the way it needs to. And what I mean by that is, it's very rare that an owner of one of these RX 350s is on the brakes hard like a race car. And because of that, I find the rotors do show a lot of rust. This one was a demo, and you can see the wear on that rotor is very inconsistent. It's not totally flat. And because of that, sometimes people think there's something wrong, or sometimes they think that they need new brakes, when in fact, we just need to like stomp on that brake a little bit. Also, I will show you the little vents that are there because it's rare that you get to see that. So there is some cooling for those brakes and tires, which is nice. The tires themselves are an Eagle Touring tire. I think it's pretty good all around Goodyear. Nothing really, I don't know enough about it, to be honest, to talk about. I was gonna pretend to, but I don't know. I just know a couple tires. Side profile, so you can see we got that F Sport logo, which actually has a nice little shimmer to it, especially because the back is white and it kind of matches the body. We have those black accents again. We do have chrome that is exposed. It'd be cool to have that blacked out sometimes, but I'm not opposed to it for sure. Obviously, I already took the handle off because this had a dead battery earlier. But we have that electronic door handle here. So you can see that in action. Pretty self-explanatory there. And then that beautiful red interior. But I'm gonna get to that in a second. I mainly just wanted to turn on that headlight and show you the rear with that taillight. So again, just another detail to think about. Sometimes when people are car shopping, they forget to check things like the taillight, because how often are you behind the car that you're driving? Well, I'm here to tell you, you should pay attention, because the back end of the RX, especially the F Sport, is just absolutely beautiful. Look at it. When this car got first redesigned and it came out in 2023, the first thing I noticed was that back end reminded me more of Porsche or one of those brands than it did the rest of the Lexus lineup. And I meant that in a complimentary way, because those are some body lines and some design language that I've always been a fan of. Then we have at the bottom that textured plastic. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think it's great. And then it's complemented by some of the piano black and very hidden exhausts, super hidden. You can't even tell they're there. But we felt like we had to still put something on each side, as you can see, which is kind of funny. And the reason we don't have exhaust is because of a lot of cars coming out are going to be more that hybrid EV. So Lexus didn't want this thing to look ancient by the time, it's still on the road, because we know Lexuses last forever. Opening up that trunk, I hope I don't kill the battery because the headlights are still on. In here, obviously lots of space. All of these come with the net, as well as that carpet mat, as well as the carpet mats for the floors. So you can see all of that here. 9 times out of 10, when cars get traded in, the carpets are still in the plastic. So, to each their own with that. The rubbers do a great job. And then we have some buttons back here. So we do have left, right switches, and that's so we can fold down those seats. So if I press it, I'm just pressing it with my hand there, you can see that seat's folding down, and it's power, because this is the F3. And then I can actually walk away from it and it's still going down. So that's kind of cool. It is slow. I'm not gonna say it's fast. So I'm actually gonna start putting it back up, because we're gonna go back there in a second. And that's pretty much the back. I mean, if we really wanted to get in some details, I can show you. We got some stuff here. We got the full-size spare, which is important. We have the jack. And then we have a little storage space here where I like to put all the books. So that's where the medic kit is, that's where the books are, stuff like that. And how could I possibly forget the grocery hook, which is hidden off to the side here. I do love me a good grocery hook. And that's the back of it. So let's go to the front. I'm gonna do a little bit of the interior. We'll go through some buttons in there. I'm probably gonna miss some buttons, but I just wanted to show more or less the F Sport side of things. So let's check it out. So going into it, so obviously the handle, we can just press, it's electronic. So it opens up really easy. If we needed to override it, you can see I already have this piece popped off for another reason, but you would unlock it with your key shank. And here, we would actually pull on this little lever. You're only gonna do that if you have a dead battery, put it that way. So this is the Rioja red interior. Because of that, we have an armrest that's also red. I'm looking at the camera right now and I'm telling you, in person, it doesn't look as bright as in the camera. So I hope that helps people. Also, we have this beautiful Ultra Suede. It's branded Ultra Suede. I like to call it Alcantara, that's what it reminds me of. But it is just a really, really soft suede. We have the Mark Levinson sound system. And then that's the other side of that door handle that I talked about. So that's the electronic door handle from the inside. Also, we have a little water bottle holder here, and there's the Lexus puddle light. So you can see when you open the door at nighttime, that shines on the ground. If you're not in a shiny showroom, you can still kind of see it. But that's right there included in this package. Let's talk about the seats a little bit on the inside. So again, we got the red. And in terms of seat controls, because it's the Sport, it doesn't have the extra thigh extension. So right here on the Luxury, you can actually extend it out a little bit. On the Sport, you'll see the switches are just the same on every package. So you have 2-way lumbar, not 4-way. And then it goes forward, backward, all using these switches. And it's important I note, F3 gives you the trim Alcantara on these seats. I love the F Sport Series seats, so that's that. Okay, let's sit in. Okay, so here is the seating position on the F3. You'll notice, even though the suede is here, it stops. And then the accents for the rest of the cabin are either the interior color, which is red, or the silver. No, it's almost like a brush chrome on the rest of it. In terms of buttons, over to the left, we do have this little change holder, which I've definitely forgotten to show people in the past. So if you have one of these cars, I'm sorry, I might have forgotten to show you that. Above that, we have the fuel door and the trunk. And the reason I really like where they put that is when you're sitting here, you can see those. So having buttons that when you need them, you don't have to think and you can just like go and press them is great. Same with the door switches. Or sorry, not the door switches, the seat switches. So this is the memory seat. So to set, you're just gonna go press, and then you could set 1, 2, and 3. That'll do your steering wheel, your seat, and your mirrors. And then above that, we have our dimmer and odometer buttons. Again, there was many years Lexus had that like hidden behind the steering wheel, and even I sometimes would struggle to find it. And everybody knows I'm like the Lexus guy, and I still would be like, oh, where's that button? Interesting enough, this part of the interior is a little different. So the trim on the F Sport for the center here, it looks three-dimensional. It looks like someone took like a grinder to a piece of metal and like created some lines in it. I think that's what they were going for, but it is plastic. It does look really, really cool. I like the three-dimensional look. I think even though it's a different color than like the gray on the steering wheel, I think that's on purpose. I think they still tie well together. The armrest, you can open from both sides, and you do that just from the little button right there. It's decent enough, lots of space. It's a big armrest too. That's a big difference between the NX and the RX, is that armrest is big. We have a couple buttons here. We have a terrain select mode. We have traction control off. We have the brake hold. This is something that's not in the hybrid, is we have the override switch for the auto off feature. So this is one of those cars that when you're at a red light, the engine could shut off. Because of that, you can override that if you're not a fan of it. Then we have the parking brake. So I always just set that to auto. We have downhill assist control, which where I live, I don't really need, but if you live in an area that does, it's not a bad thing to have. Then we have the shifter. So this is the style of shifter that you put it in gear and you just let go. It's the same on the hybrid or non-hybrid. And then there's the park switch there. The cup holders are still really unique. Oh, by the way, that's that little piece that goes on the outside door handle. You can press down on it or up if you want a different size cup. We have some storage in there with the wireless charger for your phone. And there's also a USB-C and USB-A in there. And then 2 USB-Cs here. We have a little shelf. You might notice 2 buttons here that are only on the fully loaded. So this is the bird's eye view or the panoramic view monitor. And this is the auto park feature, which goes in conjunction why we have the electronic door shift now, or gear shift. My words are all over the place today. I'm gonna start the car. You'll notice I'm gonna press unlock first because we are experimenting with immobilizers right now. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. If you're driving one of these cars, probably you have a screen protector on and you don't know it. Usually the telltale, you can see on my screen, the light is kind of reflecting it in a weird way. And that's because there is the screen protector on it. There really isn't a seam. You have to just sort of use your fingernail and start it, and then you'll see it start to peel off. So the actual screen underneath, you will see is very shiny. It's very bonded glass. So there you go. So you can see on this one, even though it doesn't look like it, it does have a screen protector on. And I'm just gonna leave that on because it's our showroom car. Even though it's a grounded demo, I'm still gonna leave it on. I really wanted to show you the other side of the bird's eye view. So this is when you're parked. It just does like an overview. So you can see, it's kind of cool because you can see the showroom. It's in color, so you can see the blue LC is picking up on that. But if we were in an actual gear, you would see it front facing or rear facing, and it would be bird's eye view all around you. But you sort of get the point for that. The auto park feature shows the front facing camera, and then to the left shows you the controls for how to park it. I'm not gonna go too in depth on this screen because I've done videos just on that screen before, and there's a lot, that's like a whole video on its own, essentially. On the steering wheel, because of it's an F Sport, we always have heads-up display on F Sports, and it's the intelligent steering wheel controls. So again, I've done a video on that. If you're having problems with it, or if you wanna know what it is, big in-depth video on that. Above it, you will notice I have a driver monitoring system. And that is for a few things. One, it will tell you if you look away from the steering wheel. Like if I'm distracted because I'm trying to read a billboard or something, it'll say beep, 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 keep your eyes on the road, champ. And then I keep my eyes on the road. Or also if the car has traffic jam assist. Because traffic jam assist, they need to monitor your face to make sure you're not sleeping. So just remember that. Up here, we have the rear view mirror. It is a digital rear view mirror. So we can have it as a mirror and you can see me in there, or we can just turn it to a camera and now it's facing the back. Cool thing about that is on the intelligent one like this, when you go to set those buttons at the bottom, which are like your garage door openers, it'll actually give you step-by-step instructions, which I forgot it does. We have a sunglass holder up there. It's not Alcantara, but it is a black roof liner, which I do prefer, and that's only in the F Sports. And that's pretty much everything I wanted to go up here. Of course, being fully loaded, there's a couple extra buttons. There's that Mark Levinson sound system. We have those nice ultra suede seats, which I'm always a big fan of. And you know what, with the red, it is really sharp. I like the black on red, but with white on red, it's also really contrasty. And I'm a big fan of that. Let me just show you to the back. Really not a huge difference from the other packages, except for one thing, and that's right away I'm gonna show you. It's that switch. So because of it has the power seats, you can recline and move them by that switch. Obviously, it being an RX, we're not gonna cut a corner for the back. So we still have ultra suede. We still have those really nice red armrests. The suede on the seats is present as well. So we still have, even though it's a bench seat, we still have ultra suede lining them. A couple extra buttons we do have, which is super exciting because Lexus did not have cooled seats in the back for a long time, but now we do. So this car in the back seat has cooled seats. Even an LS a number of years ago didn't have that, or an LX, and now even the RX does. So heated and cooled back here. We don't have, and we have climate control too, I should say that. This lights up and it gives us climate control. We have the USB-C. I'm gonna put this armrest down. Armrest, as well as little glove box thing. So yeah, the back, pretty much the same as all the other RXs, except for has some of those extra buttons, and they don't cheap out on the trim and things like that. Okay, so there you have it, just a little bit of an in-depth look at the RX 350 F Sport. I know in a world of hybrids right now, it's hard to think of the RX 350 having that turbocharged engine being still relevant, but I'm telling you, it still is. This is still a car that's super fun to drive. It's got loads of tech. It's still great on gas because the turbocharged 4-cylinder. And as you saw, you can still get it spec'd out to be an absolute beast on the road. So I don't know for how many years Lexus is gonna have both the hybrid and the turbocharged available. So if you're considering it, I would go with the RX gas or the turbo while we still can have a choice. I do want to tackle the topic of immobilizers. This is a hot topic right now. As a dealer, I can't technically recommend them because there is a chance that you get one that has an invasive installation. We did decide to start experimenting with them. And I kid you not, if I had the camera rolling a few seconds ago, I did just get a phone call as to why we're not quite there yet with these. So if you don't know what an immobilizer is, essentially it's an external aftermarket solution to anti-theft, to avoiding theft systems. And essentially what it does is you have to have an extra key fob that you have to press unlock or do a sequence in the car to allow the car to start. So there's a device inside the car hidden that's interrupting the circuit to be able to start the car. And this is a great theft deterrent because the people stealing these cars will not know where it is or which system it is, or it's aftermarket. So it could be hundreds of different applications instead of just the one that comes with Lexus. And it does a really good job of preventing thefts. The two things it doesn't do a great job of, and the phone call I just got off of, literally from filming to doing this outro, is it's sometimes a little inconsistent. I just got off the phone with a guest. They're at the mall driving one with an immobilizer and the car won't start. Well, it's still a device that we have to sort of figure out. So I had to sort of talk her through, let's shut down the device, let's fire it back up. And then eventually the Lexus started again. So great. The other thing is the warranty. So if someone has one of these installed and something voids a warranty, we can't stand behind it. So as a dealer, as a manufacturer, we don't, technically recommend these types of things. However, if you're willing to take the risk, they do a good job of preventing thefts. So that's my 2 cents on that. Anyway, back to the rest of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, this idea for tonight's video came right out of the comment section. So please make sure you leave comments below on any other video ideas that you would like to see. Summertime is coming and we're gonna be doing more videos outside. So possibilities are pretty much endless. Maybe even some off-road and racetrack stuff too. We'll see. We'll kind of see what the year holds. So make sure you hit like and subscribe. I'm Dustin Mason from Performance Lexus in St. Catharines, and I'll see you in the next one.